All right, guys, what's going on? I am here with Neil. Neil, say what's up.
What's up, guys? How's it going? It's Trader Neil here
So
in
Neil
the building with
is,
Matt.
yeah, Neil is a really good friend of mine now. A lot of you guys know of him and have heard of him because he's been sending signals out for quite some time. And you're a pretty well respected guy in the space. But what most people don't know, and you brought this up last time, Neil, is that you're like an actual person. You're a well spoken individual. Like people think that you're some sort of like robot. You know what I mean? But you're actually a really cool dude and a really down to earth person, and especially in the crypto space, people like to see that because, as you know, Neil, and as I know as well, it's not always like that in the crypto space, right? A lot of shady people. But you're definitely not one of those. You've been doing this for a long time. You have the results to back it up, and you're a really good trader. So before I even jump into this, I'm gonna link Neil's YouTube channel and Twitter below, so you guys can go give him a follow. Out of nearly everyone I've talked to in the trading space, I've talked to nearly all these guys over the past few years. Everyone, and Neil is definitely legit, and his trade style is a lot like my own trade style. So yeah, I fully back him. So make sure to give him a follow, and we're gonna go over some charts for you guys. Neil's gonna explain his trading style, his trading strategy, and then we're gonna get into Bitcoin's current price because we're at all-time highs right now. So we're gonna explain, where we think price is going, and then the best way for you guys to capitalize off of the pump, the soon-to-be pump, hopefully. So we'll be talking about that. But yeah, Neil, if you want to jump into it.
Of course. Thanks, Matt. I appreciate the intro there. It really means a lot with those kind words and everything. I completely agree with you as well when it comes to, just like you said, when it comes to people in this space, traders in this space. I feel like it is a little bit difficult to find people that are genuine and that really care about not only trying to help others, but teaching as well.
Yeah.
And trying to just be kind of down to earth in that sort of way and just want to be able to go the extra mile and see not only just send signals, things like that, whenever I can to try to help people grow their ports alongside me, but at the same time, educate and try to help others understand why I take the trades that I do, why I am in this space, why I love crypto in general, like all of these things to try to spread the crypto gospel. All of that is part of why I do what I do. And so I appreciate you, Matt, for giving me the opportunity to just be on your channel to talk about these things and to kind of give everyone an idea of my own trading style and see if I can help you guys out. And
Awesome. Yeah.
so kind of first and foremost, a little bit about the way that I trade, guys. So I just have a Bitcoin chart pulled up here. Personally, the way that I look at the chart, the way that I trade is I'm a big support resistance trader. I'm a big order block SR trader, as well as I use fibs and volume profiles to help me find my entries.
Dude, that's
And
so
so,
funny you
for
say
example,
that, Neil. I hate to cut you off. That's so
uh-huh,
funny you say that
go for
because
it.
I'm a big support and resistance and fib trader as well. And that's what I've been preaching for the past 3 years since I started this community. That's what I've always done. That's how I learned how to trade more classical charting. And it's funny because nowadays, if you try to get into trading, people will actually tell you, and I use a volume profile as well, people will actually tell you support and resistance doesn't work because there's all these new concepts, all these new, ICT concepts, and we've actually gotten to a point in the trading space where you will have unprofitable traders who are trying to trade on, these prop firms that haven't received a single payout, telling you that support and resistance and fibs and all these things don't work, which is, I mean, obviously it's untrue. We've been posting results for the past 3 years, but it's funny because I trade the exact same way. So I just thought I'd throw that in there. It's
Dude,
very interesting.
it, exactly, man. And you said it right to the T there. And you described it really well. In my opinion, I think a lot of people they don't realize that keeping it simple in this space and keeping it simple in terms of your own trading and using support resistance, a method that is probably the first thing most traders learn, but at the same time is probably also the first thing that most traders simply just throw out the window when they start learning some of this more complicated stuff. I think at a point where everything gets more convoluted with, like you said, ICT, some of these other trading methods out there that there's courses about that people try to sell. I think the more and more that people try to get into that stuff and I personally think that it ends up confusing most of them. And in the end, it's more of like an analysis paralysis thing. They kind of overthink their trades. They decide like, this looks like a nice level on Bitcoin or on NQ or on ETH or Nasdaq, and I want to take the trade here, but at the same time, like it's not the right time of day for my trade.
Yeah.
It's not like the things like that. It doesn't have enough confluence with my other ICT factors, things like that, and so I'm not going to take it. Ends up hitting like a traditional SR level, for example, perfectly, and just continues up from there. Keep it simple, guys. That's the way that I know, Matt, you feel the same way about things. And if honestly, if you just try things in that way for a little bit, I think you would be very surprised at how well it really does just work.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%. And my partner Jay, he's a little bit into ICT. I mean, he combines a few things. I wouldn't say ICT. I mean, he trades, levels as well. But he's big into like the time thing as well on like a higher time frame. Certain quarters, certain times of the day, price tends to react, based on market. But the notion that you're not going to get into a trade position because it's 4:30 and not 5:30 is ridiculous. If you see a setup and price is coming down to your level, don't not take the trade because of the time of day. I mean, it's just like that's ridiculous. So, I mean, you guys got to be better
Completely
if you're doing
agree.
that. I mean, that come on, come on. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But for sure, with that aside, pretty much just for example, guys, I'm going to go through my thought process on a potential trade here on Bitcoin to give you guys an idea of how I take my trades. I'm going to go ahead and start out with a completely fresh chart here so you guys get an idea of like how I would go about things. And so first off, looking at this chart, guys, flat, I've got my 200 EMAs here, my EMA and my moving average here on the daily, my 50 EMA here. I don't use these traditionally as ways to find trades, but it is great confluence for me. For example, here on Bitcoin, this is one of the biggest things that I use on a higher time frame chart. Looking at Bitcoin, seeing it above these 200 moving averages here, I get an idea of okay, Bitcoin is above the 200 moving averages on the daily. In my opinion, that is a bullish sign, and as a result, I will be looking for more longs and shorts in terms of swings on Bitcoin. As you can see, I've got my trend EMA band here as well, and as you can see, Bitcoin on the way up has been perfectly holding the bottom side of this channel here on the trend band. So that's another reason why. Okay, not only is Bitcoin bullish, but it is holding this trend perfectly. And every time it comes down for a retest, it gets a nice bounce. So overall, until that stops, until that discontinues, I'm going to be looking for higher prices on BTC. But that's just using my couple of indicators on my chart. Other than that, like me and Matt said, I'm traditionally a plain support resistance trader here, guys. And so looking at Bitcoin here, of course, first level that I'll be looking at is our previous all-time high level here at around 73,815. As long as we're above that, I'm going to be more bullish and bearish on Bitcoin, especially for looking for higher prices. Bitcoin at the moment, this is the only really big support resistance level that exists on Bitcoin at the moment, guys. Of course, we rejected there back here in March, and we pretty much rejected there at the end of October as well. That price just got front run a bit, and then we came down. And honestly, guys, I think, Matt, you probably thought the same thing. Us front running that level and not hitting it to a T, or doing something like this where we came up, hit the liquidity, and then came down, this was actually a bullish sign for me, honestly. Seeing that they left this all-time high level for later, that honestly made me think like, okay, there's no way we don't come up and hit that at some point since they left it. Is that kind of what you were thinking?
yeah, absolutely. If you sweep that high, now you're talking about a potential fail of the level or swing failure pattern, and now you can look for a bias shift to the downside. So whenever you see an equal high, especially at a very key level, like an all-time high, where it literally misses the all-time high by like a few $100s, and price action is still looking bullish, your bias should still be long until that level is met, and then you can look for things like a daily close above that level. Obviously, we had this huge bullish candle closing above, so our bias is now long. We can look for higher prices as long as price is above the previous all-time high, like you said. So absolutely.
Nice, exactly my thought process too. And so looking at things now, guys, Bitcoin above that level is bullish. If we do come down, for example, today, me and Matt were talking on an FOMC day. And so if Bitcoin comes down, maybe comes down for a retest of lower levels, a couple of areas of interest I have. I'm going to go ahead and put my supply line that Bitcoin broke here. That's one area we also bounced off before. We've got a daily level here on Bitcoin. What is a daily level, guys? This is one of the big, pretty much like indicators that I use, not necessarily like a true indicator in the sense of that on TradingView, but a nice area that I have on my chart where you have daily closes and opens at the same level. And as you can see, after Bitcoin closed the daily and opened at that same level, we never came down to retest that level here at 67,800. So if we do come down for there, that would be one area of interest that I do have on this chart. And then if I go ahead and go on like a 4-hour time frame, for example, here, got a couple areas of interest here as well. First, here at 71,628 or so, I do see on BTC that we have that as a very clear previous SR level. You can see, guys, you've got rejection there, support, and rejection here locally. And then you do have an imbalance here as well in the 4-hour. You see this huge 4-hour candle to the upside. And so Bitcoin coming down to retest that here would not surprise me one bit. And then if I take a local fib pull from this low on Monday to our current highs here, this would be another area of interest that I have. This is the golden pocket fib level, guys. It's a 618 to 66 fib. And so that is an area of interest that I have on BTC where I would be, in a way, expecting or anticipating a bounce. And so, as you can see as well, that is a very clear SR level too, guys. You've got rejections at that same level here. And so, kind of my thought process, you've got two long opportunities potentially, guys. I would be looking for a potential low here at 71s or maybe coming down all the way to 7,500 or so. Here, in my opinion, I think it is a time to start being aggressive on the charts, guys. If you start at this point looking for two, let's say, deep of pullbacks on Bitcoin and a lot of these altcoins while Bitcoin is so bullish, I think a lot of times you'll probably get left behind. And so just looking at Bitcoin here, would I want Bitcoin to come all the way down to this golden pocket and SR level here? Of course, that would be an more ideal situation as I, in my opinion, have more confluence at the entry here. But at the same time, do I think we might get a bounce here at 71s and then just continue up from there? That wouldn't surprise me either. So you just have to be prepared for any scenario. Either you could, in my opinion, what I would do, I would have a swing long where I would start it here and then just simply add if we go lower. That would be the idea here. This is the thing in bull markets, guys. When you have a trending market, I want to make it clear. In a trending market, you are looking to build positions, and this is how I play things. If you are looking to build swing positions to the upside, you 9 out of 10 times in a trending market will benefit greatly from that. Because if you think about it, guys, the more you add as price goes down, if you're trending to the upside, of course, that means that as long as trend continues, you will come back up to those previous highs and even most likely break them and continue to the upside. And so if BTC does come down for a pullback, you can view that as a blessing and view that as a way to potentially add to your position. So that's kind of my thoughts here on Bitcoin, Matt. Do you have any thoughts about it either?
Yeah, yeah. You said a lot of good stuff. I use the golden pocket. That's like the main fib levels that I've been using for quite some time. That's what I teach in my group. So everyone will be glad to hear that you use that as well. I want to point out when you're drawing out these support levels, you're looking for levels with price history. And I think this is another kind of key talking point regarding support and resistance. You don't look for a single level or a single candle high or low. You're looking for levels that have seen multiple reactions. Like on your chart right now, you've circled that level was acting as resistance, flipped to support, acted as resistance again, and then we had that imbalance above. So that level is a key support level because price has reacted from that level multiple times in the past. It hasn't reacted once or twice, and I'm sure actually if you probably pulled that level left, you'd see even more reactions. So when you're looking for support or resistance levels, you want to look for key levels, right? Not just any level, but a level that has seen multiple reactions, an area of interest, so to speak. So I'm glad that you drew that level. I'm looking at that same level there. So yeah, and then
Exactly, man.
and then regarding trending markets as well, I'm glad that you pointed this out. Trending markets continue more often than they don't. Meaning, if you are in a trending market with higher highs and higher lows, and you see very bullish candle structure, as you see here, massive displacement candles breaking structure, the odds are the probabilities of price continuing that trend are going to be higher than the probabilities of price losing that trend and breaking those lows. So as long as price comes down into those levels, you can build long positions and target the highs as your first take profit because, as you said, in a trending market, it is likely to continue that trend. So you have a very clear first take profit at those highs at around 76,400, and then ideally leave a runner because price is likely to continue, especially in a very clearly bullish market like this. And now you can start to add other confluences, like you said, that imbalance, bullish fair value gap. You have your key level, you have your key fib, even your EMAs are lining up. So a lot of confluences here. Of course, you have the Q4 confluence as well. So now you can start to add multiple different confluences once you've identified these key levels first. The first thing you want to do is identify these key levels and have a trade plan in advance. I just made a video on my YouTube channel about the most common reasons that traders aren't profitable. And I said the number one reason is that you don't even draw out in advance, what your trading plan is. So what I do and what Neil does and what Jay does is we'll actually draw on the charts beforehand, what we want to see price do. So then there's no guesswork. As long as price comes down to that level and our thesis is still valid, we enter the trade. There's really no guesswork. It kind of removes the emotion out of trading, so to speak. So yeah, I agree with everything you said here, and I'm looking at the same levels. Yeah.
Yeah, man, completely agree with that as well. And that was a big thing you just said about removing the guesswork out of trades and it being really, really important if you are struggling with trading, if you are someone that has been having trouble being profitable, um, to go ahead and prepare your trades, to go ahead and prepare your technical analysis, to draw out your levels, to draw out your areas of interest beforehand, not just pulling up a chart or pulling up your Bybit account and seeing Bitcoin pumping and just immediately max longing because you want to get into that. That's a recipe for disaster 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
Unless you literally draw out your levels and unless you have a plan, unless you know like, okay, if price comes to here, I'm going to do X. If price comes down to here, I'm going to then do X. If price then doesn't go the way that I want it, I'm going to have this validation for my trade and then I'm just going to close it because I don't have any emotions. If I lose a trade, that's fine, but at least I know what I did wrong. At least I knew where my validations were. Those are all hugely important things. If you don't have a plan, then you're most likely going to get wrecked 9 out of 10 times. So, very wise words, man. Completely agree.
Yeah, and the other issue with FOMOing as well is that it's not a system that you're following. Like we're trying to build practices that are going to last us, years and years and reap us profits time and time again. If you're just FOMOing into trades, without a real and clear trade plan, that's not replicable, right? You can't do that over and over again. You don't have a clear system in place. So you can't back test that. You can't live test that because each trade scenario is going to be different. You're just FOMOing. But when you have an actual plan, like Neil is drawing out on the charts now, that is an actual system that you can follow. And that's where we talk about, treating trading like a business, so to speak. So yeah, I agree with everything you said. Neil, do you want to jump into Bitcoin is obviously at all-time highs. Where should people start to look now that because people don't want to long Bitcoin at all-time highs, right? Obviously, we've just identified a long setup, but a lot of people watching, don't have extremely large portfolios. They want to make money fast. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Even though trading isn't a get-rich-quick scheme, it is possible in the trading space. And I know that you're big into some meme coins as well. So how do you see this playing out over the next 2 to 3 months with Bitcoin hopefully continuing to break all-time highs? Ethereum looks like it wants to play catch up, in my opinion. I think people have completely underestimated Ethereum with the ETFs saying, there's no volume in the ETFs. Guys, you don't know how these whales work. They're buying up Ethereum now, and Ethereum is going to play catch up, mark my words. But where do you see the money flowing in the next 2 to 3 months?
So honestly, man, personally, even though I think Ethereum does have a nice leg up coming up, and it have a feeling that just like you said, institutions and bigger players are accumulating large amounts of ETH, waiting for that next push to the upside. I think that most people, and as can be seen as well in the last couple weeks to months, this cycle has been dominated by meme coins.
Mhm.
And honestly, like looking at meme coins the past couple months, like I said, they have been just popping off left and right, man.
Right.
And meme coins, every time the market goes ahead and bounces, meme coins are the first ones to move, and that they are the most violent ones to move to the upside. And so that's pretty much the sector that I think will has done well and done very well over the last, well, this entire cycle so far. And I personally don't see a reason for that to stop. What do you think?
No, I completely agree. And as you said, it's not that we're guessing that meme coins are going to pop off. Over the last 365 days, the coins that have shown the most local strength are the meme coins. So it's on the chart. You know, the market makers have decided, and retail has decided as well, they want to pump the meme coins. So what kind of sectors are you looking at in terms of meme coins? Are you looking at some of the larger ones like Doge and WIF? Are you looking at coins on Solana? I mean, Solana is showing lots of local strength here. Ethereum meme coins. Like, what are you kind of looking at here? I know I see Brett on your screen as well. I'm big into the base chain, so that could be a good narrative coming up. So, what do you think?
Yeah, so personally, I think that, you know, Solana memes have been the cream of the crop this cycle so far. And at the moment, like maybe when Ethereum starts to pop off in terms of Ethereum's price action on its own, I think Ethereum memes probably do okay. But as can be seen, guys, I really do think Solana memes, you want to stay in these trending markets and stay where the money is. And until Solana memes stop popping off, you know, your whiffs, your popcats, and then a lot of some of your like newer memes, like the peanut the squirrel and things like that.
No
Like all
show.
of
That's
these, like
already a thing. Already seen
exactly,
that
it's
come up.
crazy, man,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, it's insane, and some of these smaller memes and everything like that, they've been doing extremely well, and the money's in Solana right now, and so what I would say to a newer investor or a meme coin centric um trader or investor is if you are looking to get into meme coins, if you are looking to try to find a place where to start, so a lot of memes are still where it's at, where the money is. And until that changes, I would continue to focus on it. But at the same time, I know you mentioned Brett earlier and you mentioned base.
Hmm.
I think that base chain memes, especially the ones that have been accumulating over the last 6 months since base memes first popped off earlier this year when Ethereum was running, I think those, in my opinion, do have a second life to them. And if you look at some of those charts, especially like some of the smaller base memes on like Dex Screener and things like that, you can see that a lot of them are in pretty great accumulation structures. We can even look at bread in a little bit if you feel like, but for example, like I think that Ethereum does pop off. And if it does, I think honestly, besides ETH memes, I think base memes get a lot of that volume, at least the way that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm very big on Toshi. So I've been holding Toshi for the past year. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I do have some Toshi myself too, actually.
okay. Yeah, cool, cool. So funny thing about Brett is I saw the narrative coming up because obviously Brett is Pepe's brother, right? So this was like earlier
Yeah.
this year. There were two Bretts at the time. There was a Brett that popped off, and there was another Brett. And this other Brett actually was like the OG Brett with the OG artwork that this newer one kind of ripped off. I did not really ripped off, but kind of stole some of that artwork in this Brett. So I said, okay, I'm not buying that Brett. I'm buying this Brett. And of course, the Brett that I bought was the one that rugged. And this is when the current Brett was at like $10 million market cap, dude. Like, I missed out
That's
on so
crazy,
much
man.
money. But I mean, that's kind of the game you're playing with meme coins. Hindsight is always 2020. It's very difficult to buy meme coins, at the very bottom. And what I'd actually recommend for you guys watching now is to look for meme coins that have already kind of popped off and have shown, relative strength and that are here to stay because the odds that you buy a brand new meme coin, even if it is on base chain or some other narrative or ecosystem, the odds that you're going to 100x right off launch, it's slim to none. Okay, because most people are going to rug. Most of these coins don't have the cult following communities that you need. So I like your list here on the right. These aren't super low cap. A lot of these are already in the hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollar market caps. But these are the ones that are going to perform, and you don't really have to guess that they're going to perform, right? Pepe's not going to rug. Myro is not going to rug. Brett is already such a high market cap. So these are already good buys, even at these higher prices here, wouldn't you say? As opposed to buying something that just launched.
Completely agree. So the list that I have here on TradingView, guys, these are all tried and true memes for this cycle and for last cycle. For a couple of them, like Doge, Shib, even Pepe, pretty much. And so, if you guys are interested in trading some of these memes, I would personally be focusing on some of these that are, listed on exchanges already. These ones like Doge, these ones like With, all of these are listed on tier one derivatives exchanges. And so personally, like this is a different way of meme trading, and this is the way that I look at it. You've got two cases here. You've got meme trading in the trenches on Photon, looking for your new coins. That's one way of doing things. But then you can also do it this way, where you focus on the memes that are on exchanges, to where you look to at the same time like trade them longs and shorts, derivatives wise. And honestly, that's the thing. Like you have two options here, because these memes, while they are higher market cap, while they necessarily don't move as much as some of those lower ones whenever price starts moving and volatility increases, these are still the memes that, in my opinion, move much, much stronger, much harder than just your typical, L1 or your typical um, crypto coin in the top 100. These ones still get a lot of the volatility, a lot of the volume comes through them. And this can be evident, with something just like Popcat here. Looking at something like Popcat over the last, 6 months, this is a pretty insane chart, guys. Over the last 6 months, you've seen Bitcoin range, and until just recently, over the past like month or two, Bitcoin was pretty much going sideways and down. But at the same time, if you look at something like PopCat, for example, and I'm sure some of you guys already have seen this and have been trading PopCat, during that entire time Bitcoin went sideways and down since March, look what PopCat's done. This has
20x.
gone 1800 exactly, man, 20x to the upside. And this thing has been one of the strongest charts in crypto. It's one of the biggest memes out there in terms of market cap as well so far. And Popcat has just been, honestly, it's just been ripping to the upside. And so, well, do I think this continues? I don't see a reason why it wouldn't, as long as Popcat continues to keep bullish market structure to the upside. At the moment, as you guys can see, every single one of these lows here on the 12-hour is protected. And as long as Popcat can get back above these all-time highs back here at the end of October, I don't see a reason why this couldn't continue up either. So that's kind of how I trade. I look at these meme coins, as I look to see where the volume is, but I also look to see, you know, which of the memes move first whenever volume starts coming into the market. Which of these memes rebound the fastest? Which ones of these are leaders in the market? Would I personally want to see something like Popcat, and would I want to trade something like Popcat over something like, for example, Blanc, whenever the market starts to pick up and Bitcoin starts to move? Probably yes, I would choose something like Popcat, because I like memes that are newer. And as you can see, a chart like this is showing much more strength than something like Blanc. So that's kind of how I view things.
Yeah, yeah, and also another thing is that the Bitcoin dominance hasn't even started to really fall yet. Bitcoin dominance has been climbing straight up.
Dude, exactly. And that's the other thing with things like just like you said, Bitcoin dominance has literally been on a tear since, really the bull market started. The last couple of years, Bitcoin dominance finally hit 60%. And so until Bitcoin dominance really gets a push down and really starts to reject from these higher levels, I think that, alts will continue to suffer. But at the moment, seeing alts pop off and seeing Bitcoin dominance at least have a short term pullback, that's always good to see, man.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Well,
And
let's wrap this up. We've been going for 30 minutes. Oh, that actually flew by. I didn't even realize. I just looked over at 31 minutes. Um,
wow,
yeah,
it did fly by. I can't believe it.
we'll do more of these though, because I really enjoyed this, and you have a lot of great value to add. So, we'll definitely do
Likewise,
this
man. I
again.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and comment down in the comment section below. If you've watched this to the end, make sure to give Neil a follow. Obviously, you guys have seen the value he's been able to provide just here in the past 30 minutes or so. So definitely subscribe to his YouTube channel, follow him on Twitter, and he's also sending out some signals and analysis inside the pro group. But Neil, it was a pleasure having you on, my friend, and we'll definitely do more of these in the near future.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for listening to me and Matt talk to you guys for the last 30 minutes. We appreciate it. Keep grinding in this market, guys. As long as you put the work in, I think that it's possible for every one of you guys to make it and at least see the good in crypto, which is in the end all I want. So thank you guys again for listening. And yeah, this is Trader Neil out. Thanks, Matt.
Yep. Thanks.